District Attorney Sandra, Doorley, Sheriff Todd, Baxter. My name is Christopher Chichester. I've never committed a crime. In this nauseating, disgusting, perverted descent on my life by you, Sheriff Baxter, and you, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, I've never heard Miranda versus Arizona. This is arguably the most important Supreme Court decision ever passed. And it was passed on June 13th, 1966. This Supreme Court decision is 54 years old. Are you not aware of Miranda versus Arizona? Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Doorley? Why have I never heard Miranda versus Arizona? You bald-headed stooge, you party-switching fraud, you criminal degenerate, Sheriff Todd Baxter. You'll have to answer that question for the United States Department of Justice. So, demanding public information from you. Every one of these I've been demanding for 18 months, including on June 26, 2020. This is when I demanded 12. It's up to 18 now, including the cost of overtime and if you've settled employment-related discrimination lawsuits and failed to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 when you hired Michael Radler. The cost of that surveillance device you placed on 2025 Penfield Road, its physical training standards, the names of prosecutors in Penfield Town Court that work for you. You party-switching diva, Sandra Doorley, $203,089. What are their names? I've demanded this over and over and over. This is just one time. On June 26, 2020, you refused every time. This is the Freedom of Information Law. The hypocrisy from you two party-switching criminals makes me sick to my stomach. When you demand information, you better require it. And you use either this document or a document like it in cases to demand information from individuals, depending on the facts and circumstances of a case and the crime alleged to have been committed. The first two is, how do you discipline your public employees? Because I believe you have no disciplinary process, and your refusal to answer these first two will confirm you have no disciplinary process. What's that say about your pathetic inability to provide leadership at the sheriff's office and the district attorney's office? Your assistant district attorney, Sandra Doorley, did not talk. First before John P. Lomenzo Jr. and next before bald-headed wig-wearing Paula C. Metzler. Should these individuals be subject to discipline? The answer is yes, and you won't even tell me their names. Should your disgusting, repulsive hacks and degenerates that are concocting crimes for me, such as $85,000 Don Benedetto, $67,000 Shannon Meyer, and $79,000 Andrew Reale, be disciplined? And the answer is yes, and all three should be fired, and you don't fire people. Employees have to commit crimes at the sheriff's office to be fired. That's how it gets to the level that you were fired. I believe there was one individual approximately 18 months ago that was fired because he committed a crime. You could behave in unethical and immoral ways on the job, and you will not be fired at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office because you're a bald-headed stooge and criminal, Todd Baxter. Freedom of Information Law. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime. The internal disciplinary records documentation for employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, that Sheriff Todd K. Baxter is reprimanded, terminated, disciplined employment at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Don Benedetto hid in the bushes across from my residence on August 30th and ran across the street and up my back porch, chased me onto my back porch and concocted a felony for me, which I've described in detail, and I'll tell this to the United States Department of Justice. You pay this hack $85,000 to walk onto the private property of my elderly neighbor and wait for me and stand right near her bedroom window. Isn't that right, Don? Should you discipline, terminate, or reprimand him? The answer is yes, and he needs to be terminated and fired. Andrew Reale charges me with harassment. Second, when I go to the gym, my head is snapped back violently by Jermaine Benman. We go out to the car, sit in the back seat of your Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle. He marches Jermaine Benman around to the side of the vehicle. Bettman says to me, I want to press charges against you with those 7 words. I'm charged with harassment second. Shannon Meyer is descending on me with 6 of your other whack jobs for me being outside for 30 seconds to tell a guy in his track from broccoli tree and lawn care that nobody owns that land, and that's not a crime. I'm not guilty of criminal contempt. I'm not guilty of harassment second. I'm not guilty of criminal contempt because that's not a crime to walk outside my residence, say nobody owns that land, and walk back to my residence. I'm not harassing anyone. I'm not committing a felony on my back porch. How do you have Shannon Meyer, Don Benedetto, and Andrew Yalley employed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? And that's not a rhetorical question because you are the blue wall of Todd Baxter. You are the blue wall of silence, and you accept and celebrate corruption. The internal disciplinary records or documentation for employees at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. That District Attorney Sandra Doorley has disciplined, terminated, and reprimanded from employment at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. You party-switching diva, accept and celebrate corruption, and the evidence of that is me. What's the name of your prosecutor? Stands in Penfield Town Court and does not talk, first before John P. Menzel Jr. and next before bald-headed wig-wearing Paul C. Metzler. You will refuse to tell me, and you accept and celebrate corruption because you refuse to tell me the names of your employees in a public proceeding. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd K. Baxter. What is not to understand about that? I have payroll here that Lee LaRoe did not take out of the residence. I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to compare it to the individuals and the salaries I have on here. I'm going to put every raise on YouTube. This is called disclosure. I know you're thrilled about this, Todd Baxter. I know that you're going to praise me for putting the raises of your employees on YouTube. For example, a $5,000 raise, a $10,000 raise, a $15,000 raise. Every single dollar at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is tax dollars. What are the raises? Send me the new payroll. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office is District Attorney Sandra Doorley. I'm going to go to YouTube. It's the payroll for the District Attorney's Office. I'm going to put the raises on YouTube. This is called disclosure. I am your disclosure party switching diva. How do you expect to be reelected if the people of Monroe County and your opponent make an issue of your $100,000 lawyers at the District Attorney's Office? Perry Douglas, do you believe that your salary is going to be an issue at $129,000? What do you think about that, Perry? Because you live in a delusional 1984 if you think that answer is no. Perry, do you make $129,000? $525, I believe it is. 24/7? Or are you paid more than that amount of money, Perry? What's the answer to that question? What's the answer, Perry Duckles? Do you earn money beyond your $129,000 salary? And how is that done? When you achieve the 41st hour. The cost of overtime, time and a half, paid on base salaries, Captain Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. Cost of overtime, time and a half, paid on base salaries, calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. What's the answer to that question? Public employees throughout the United States of America abuse overtime. I'm demanding if there is abuse at your District Attorney's Office and at the Sheriff's Office. But, Michael Radler, since you make $0, you're paid no money. I'm also interested in if you are paid private money to go to work. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office is a $0 employee, and that's why you need to be audited at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. The cost of taxpayers for Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Amanda Marie Smith, $85,508. Are you, Amanda Marie Smith, being sexually harassed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter? I hope you're not. Amanda, do you understand what constitutes sexual harassment? Because it can be 500 plus things, 1,000 plus things. because of the way men cannot control their base impulses, their base desires, that pornographic way of thinking at the office when they should be thinking about fulfilling the responsibilities at the job. And what they're doing is thinking about their anatomy and how to satisfy their anatomy. So, Amanda Marie Smith, I hope you're not being sexually harassed at Monroe County Sheriff's Office, but I'm demanding to know if your boss has settled employment-related discrimination lawsuits because of it. Sandra A. Broku, $36,201. Are you Sandra A. Broku being sexually harassed at Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Sheriff Todd Baxter? I hope you're not, Sandra. Right there is a disparity in pay between Sandra A. Broku at $36,201 and Amanda Marie Smith at $84,508. So, since that disparity in pay is $48,000, Sandra A. Broku is more vulnerable to a male sexual predator than Amanda Marie Smith. Because of the power structure of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, the power structure is defined by salaries, because salaries, the more money you make, the more power you have, and that's just the way it is. So, Freedom of Information Law. The cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley spending taxpayer hours on employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Susan Schultz, $22,846. Are you Susan Schultz being sexually harassed at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley? I hope you're not. Meredith Vaca, $97,909. Are you Meredith Vaca being sexually harassed at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley? I hope you're not. So that disparity in pay between Susan Schultz at $22,846 and Meredith Vaca at $97,909 is significant, because Meredith Vaca is paid $75,000 more than Susan Schultz. Power structure of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, and this is in any district attorney's office, any office with that type of disparity in pay, because the $75,000 disparity in pay is going to protect the person that's making $75,000 more from a male sexual predator. So a male sexual predator will think, the senior employee at the office, I can't get away with it with her. That's why these animals, these predators, look for people that make $22,846 like Susan Schultz. What's the answer to that question, Sandra Doorley? What's the answer to that question, Todd Baxter, about the way your public employees behave in the two most powerful offices in Monroe County? You, Todd Baxter, are the freak of the freak show. And this Freedom of Information Law is going to prove it. I've read this over and over and over now. And you were lying about it at first. Can't lie about it because the thing is on that building. What is the thing? What's the thing called, Todd Baxter? Shine your bald head, Todd. Shine up your bald head the way it's supposed to be. Shine your head up, real shiny. Take a washcloth, wet it, shine your bald head, and what is the thing I'm talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about, you bald-headed party-switching criminal. The cost of surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars on Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter fixed to a building in 2025 Penford Road. The monitor for Christopher Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. Should never happen in the United States of America. One innocent man. That's it right there. What's that look like? What's that look like? What is that? What's that called, Todd Baxter? What's that called, Todd Baxter? Elliot Roth, what's that called? This is your building you're copying on this? Elliot, I'm walking through the park lot for the 4,000th time, and you're out there with that misanthropic, morbid grin on your face, and you say to me, you're going to be arrested, and you know I have no idea what you're talking about, because you know that they came and they put this on this building right there. That's it. That's your surveillance device. And you're not at the Central Intelligence Agency. They have bald-headed criminals at the CIA. You're a bald-headed criminal in Monroe County because you bought this from me and only me. How is this explained to the United States Department of Justice? Freedom of Information law. The cost of taxpayers for photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter photographed 10 public employees underwater in a pool. Where was this picture taken? This is an abomination. These are your employees with the American flag in the background. I swim in the pool at the YMCA in Penfield. That is a large pool. Was it taken in that YMCA pool? If not, which pool was this taken in? Was this done on the time the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Was this done in private time? This here is 50 questions, 100 plus questions here. What are they doing? What's the purpose of it? Is this the dive team? Do you have a dive team for Lake Ontario? Do you have a dive team for any body of water in Monroe County? What is the explanation for why they took this picture? If you do not have a dive team, and this is not the dive team, well, it is what I already know it is that this is Fun City, and this is your narcissism. I'm going to talk about your narcissism and your passion for jails and how you cannot control your language. I'm just astonished that you in office, you are a freak show accident of history. So, and you will lose, I guarantee it. So, what are they doing under here? What's the purpose of this? Are you Todd under here? Are you Michael Radler under here? Are you Corey Brown? Paid $131,000, $1,000 less than Todd Baxter. Are you under here, Corey Brown? Animal House, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And this is Animal House, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, with Ryan Fisher, 1,000 plus miles away in Atlanta, Georgia. Todd Baxter. How well do you know the history of New York State? Because in New York State, the state that I was born, raised, and loved as much as every other New Yorker born and raised in New York, because who doesn't love New York? There were no segregated lunch counters in New York. If you wanted to ride a bus in New York City in 1955, you got on that bus. Didn't matter the color of your skin. And if you were already sitting down on that bus, you didn't have to get up for someone who was white to sit in your seat. There weren't separate water fountains in the Great Empire State in 1955 or 1960. There weren't certain schools, depending on the color of your skin, that children from kindergarten to 12th grade were forced to go to. There's nothing like that in New York. The cost of a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee Ryan Fisher attended the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019. His canine dog Lola. This is Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia. And you want people to know about it. Who wrote this tweet? Did you write this tweet, $0 Michael Rather? Did you write this tweet, $36,000 Kathleen Miller? Did you write this tweet, $101,000 William Tadeo? Did you write this tweet, Scott Alberti? Somebody wrote this tweet. You're sitting down, tweeting about this guy being out in New York, in Atlanta, Georgia, with its stars and bars, the official symbol of a redneck. As we get ready to watch Super Bowl, we're grateful to the men and women assigned to keep fans and players safe in Atlanta, including MCSO's own Deputy Ryan Fisher. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta. Thank you both for your service. Service, delusional, 1984. You need to read a dictionary at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office because this is not service. And here he is. It's your employee, Ryan Fisher. What is Ryan Fisher doing out of Rochester, out of Monroe County, out of New York, 1,000 plus miles away in Atlanta, Georgia? And how long did it take you to see the stars and bars, Ryan? How long did it take you to see the official symbol of a redneck? There's Ryan Fisher, Monroe County Sheriff Office employee in Redneck, Georgia, where until 2003, this was the official flag. 2003, it took them that long, the Georgia State Legislature and the governor, to agree that this should not be the state flag. State flags are important. State flags define who you are in that state, in all 50 states. Now, I used to see the state flag of New York when I worked in the Capitol. I worked there for 7 years, and it is one of the 5,000 reasons why I love being in New York, or who doesn't love New York. And that's it right here. But it's Latin Mono Excelsior, which means ever higher. You ever higher at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter? The answer is no. You ever higher at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley? The answer is no. You have employee after employee after employee at the Sheriff's Office that is overweight. That doesn't matter. The District Attorney's Office, because you suit-wearing desk jockeys can be 20, 30, 40, 50 plus pounds overweight. Doesn't matter. You're suit-wearing desk jockeys. You're out on the streets. Todd Baxter, guess what? Memo to Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. The criminals like to run away from the cops. And in order for the cops to catch the criminals, they have to run after criminals that are running away. And you need to be in shape. Because your employees are not in shape. You know why, Todd, baby? Because they're eating these gummy bears. See, I got these at Target. And they're eating this vanilla ice cream here. See, I got to set your headquarters at Wegmans because your whack jobs are always over there. And they're eating these Twinkies here. This is what they're doing when they're not at the office because your employees are overweight. I'm really not trying to be funny. If it's not funny, then it's not funny. I'm demonstrating that that's what your employees eat because they're overweight. If not eating those products, they're eating products just like it because they're overweight. They're sitting there on their couches after they get home from your Jonestown, you party-switching degenerate, Todd Baxter, and then they go right for the gummy bears or the Twinkies or the ice cream. It's so obvious. I've been around enough of your employees to see that they have serious weight problems. You have no physical training standards. What are the physical training standards and requirements of Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter? You have no physical training standards. Tell your employees to go to a designated location, 5 different locations you can have in Monroe County, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to arrive there, 40 push-ups, 40 sit-ups, a 2-mile run. It's done in an hour. And that's the way it's done. And you should know this as being a veteran in the Army for every veteran. That's what's going to happen tomorrow morning at the 82nd Airborne Division, the 101st Airborne Division, Fort Drum in New York. Soldiers will wake up right to PT 3 times a week if tomorrow's the PT day. Because not every day's a PT day. At least when I was in. I don't know what it's like now. Tell your employees to get in shape. You have to force them to be in shape. Because there are ones that are going to think, I don't give a damn about that. And the ones that say, I don't give a damn about that, the ones I see all the time because they're overweight. Michael Radler, do you need some money, Michael Radler? Because, when I went to the payroll with Sheriff Baxter, I went to your name because I knew you were a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee for 20 years, and then you retired. And there you are again back at the Sheriff's Office. Why? Did Sheriff Baxter personally call you and ask you to come back to the office? Because you're making $0. You're paid $0. No money. You don't even make this 25 cents I have in my hand. No money. Why? Are you paid private money to go to work at 130 South Plymouth Avenue in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Are you paid money from the campaign accounts that Todd Baxter controls, the money that he used when he was elected in 2017? What's the answer to that question, Michael Radler? The name in charge of every inmate in Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter's Monroe County Jail from January 1, 2018 to February 26, 2021. Separate and segregate your violent inmates from the nonviolent inmates. The fact that I have to tell your bald head is yet again certification of your total and absolute incompetence. You have nonviolent inmates. I've never committed a crime, and I'm in there with a guy charged with murder. And his picture was in the Democrat Chronicle. Does the prosecutor talk in court? Party switching diva Sandra Doorley? How many times do I have to demand her name? Total silence. I'm at the podium in front of this 70-year-old hack, this pedophile protection racket, the Daniel Glaus III that calls himself John P. Lomenzo Jr. I look to my left. I'm waiting for her to talk. Not one word. Documentation for the case for Christopher Johnson for John P. Lomenzo Jr. Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? Your former employee, Kyle Steinbach, refused to tell me her name. I emailed him at least 3 times. Tell me her name. And then the first one, he emails me back and said, we don't discuss open cases. Again, how do you fail to understand the English language? This is someone that has a JD, a senior person at the district attorney's office. Well, I ask him, what's the name of the process? We don't discuss open cases. I email him back. I say, I'm home. My rights have been abridged. What's her name? Nothing from him. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester with Paul C. Metz in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra? He didn't say one word, not one sound, not one syllable. He leaves his podium. I'm standing there. I can see the profile of bald-headed wig wearing Paul Metz. That's when I saw that hideous wig up close. I've seen it before, but this was as close to her wig as I got. And she's not saying anything to me, acknowledging me, the facts and circumstances and why I'm in there from this disgusting, nauseating, bankrupt cipher. Nothing matters to her. The facts don't matter. The circumstances don't matter to her or John P. Lomenzo Jr. I look at him. He goes to her, gives her a piece of paper. I don't know what's on it. She declares me guilty, and then I'm in Livingston County. How do you explain to the United States Department of Justice, you disgusting, pathetic, sick Todd Baxter, that I've lived in Monroe County for 9 years and I'm in Livingston County? What am I doing in Livingston County? When you're asked by an employee at the Department of Justice, Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sandra, what is Chris Chichester doing in Livingston County? How do you answer that question? And it can't be answered. It can't be answered at all. So, you need to control your language, Todd Baxter, because you gave this interview. I have a passion for jails. How do you say I have a passion for jails? How does that language exit your mouth? Because what you're confessing is that you love pain and suffering from people. That's what you're confessing. And when you're asked in this story about how you can't control your language, during the campaign, you were critical of the sheriff's office response to opioid crisis. What will you do differently now? Sheriff Baxter, quote, we had a staff meeting my first day here with 13 people sitting around the table from the sheriff's office, 5 different bureaus, and I charged each one of them to have some kind of foot in the game. I'm just astounded that you're in office. Foot in the game. Foot in the game. So, tell your employees, you bald-headed stooge, to stay away from Wegmans. Here she is right here. I'm walking over there. There's your employee. There's the Wegmans sign. There's your vehicle. Why are they over at Wegmans? When I go to Gold's Gym, I see them there. When I walk over there with my neighbor to go shopping and go to Cam's Pizza, go to Target, there they are, driving around in circles. There are Wegmans where they don't belong. Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia, where he doesn't belong. There's employees underwater in the pool where they don't belong. How do you think you're going to be reelected? Do you really believe that you're going to be reelected? Huh? Tell one of your hacks, Shannon Meyer, fire her ass, to go over to 2041 Penfield Road, which is right here, and ask Neeraj and Layla Kumar Shah, a 50-year-old man living with his 7-year-old mother, for documentation that proves ownership of this land. I come outside one day, say nobody owns that land, and walk back on my residence because I already knew that they don't own this land. That's not a crime, you bald-headed stooge. I'm not harassing anyone. My head is snapped back at the gym. By Andrew Alley. Oh, pardon me, Todd. I need to answer the phone. Hold on. It just rang. Hold on, Todd. Let me just take this. I'll be able to talk to you and tell you and Sandra and you and Todd how you're still criminals as I'm listening to this message here. And I just got the message. And Todd, I need to inform you that Aaliyah Bird just escaped again from your custody at Strong Memorial Hospital because, on a 3-hour chase. And what I'm demanding is the name of your employee at your Jonestown, Monroe County Sheriff's Office that allowed Aaliyah Burden to escape. Was it one of the individuals in this photograph here? Here she is in her white gown. 1, 2, there's 4 here. 1, 2, there's one behind her. You can just see his profile here. His black uniform behind her. There's the black uniform here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 here. Was it one of these 4 in the picture? If not, what's the name of the employee? So there's no accountability for you. You do whatever you want. You will have to answer how she escaped when I contact the Office of Governor Andrew Cuomo, United States Department of Justice. Just like you'll have to answer Paula C. Metzler, bald-headed wig-wearing disgusting hack, how Leela Roque is in my arrest with these blue gloves after you type this document that says search warrant. That's not a search warrant. This is not a search warrant. Bankrupt criminal, hack, cipher, disgusting, vile, degenerate Paula C. Metzler. This is not a search warrant. When I send this to the United States Department of Justice, its employees will conclude immediately that it has no force of law. I'm demanding the financial disclosure statements. This is attached again. Financial disclosure statements for you. That was sent on February 18th. Where is it? Where's your financial disclosure statement? Because here it is again on February 24th. Your financial disclosure statement. And you're going to refuse every time. Financial disclosure statement with District Attorney Sandra Doorley for calendar year 2019. You got that on February 24th. This is dated February 26th. You understand what I'm telling you? What I'm demanding of you on this day, February 26th, that you just read? Everything on here. Send it to the email or the address on here. That's why I picked that up again. Tell you the email and your address. Financial disclosure statement. This is general language, so I'm going to tell you what you're going to think after I read this. The financial disclosure statement with District Attorney Sandra Doorley for calendar year 2019. Chris, this doesn't cite any law, any subsection D, part 4 for me to comply with. So I'm not going to send you my financial disclosure statement. That's exactly what you're thinking. Financial disclosure statement, Sheriff Todd Baxter for calendar year 2019 as my signature, February 26, 21. What do you think about that, you bald-headed stooge? And I'll tell you what you think about that. Chris, you're not citing paragraph 5, section 4, part 12 of the law. So I'm not going to comply with your demand for my financial disclosure statement because you want to see if I have a conflict of interest. And go fuck yourself, Chris. Financial disclosure statement for Penfield Town Judge Paul C. Metzer for calendar year 2019. Chris, I need to take my wig off and look at it and shine my bald head. And I got a bald head just like Sheriff Todd Baxter. So I'm not going to comply, with your demand to see if I have a conflict of interest because I'm a criminal on Penfield Town Court. You know I'm a criminal, and I know I'm a criminal, but you're not getting any disclosure from me, Chris. The financial disclosure statement for Penfield Town Judge James Finelli Jr. for calendar year 2019. Chris, I'm really busy right now because this violent dog, Jermaine Bettman, snapped your head back at the gym. And then Jessica Wagner, party switching Sandra Doorley's Monroe County District Attorney's Office, got together with the attorney for Jermaine Bettman, and you get a subpoena to go into Penfield Town Court. You arrive, and then I ordered you out of the courtroom because there's a deal between Jessica Wagner and the attorney for Jermaine Bettman to let this violent dog walk right out the door. So I'm not going to apply with this financial disclosure for me, Chris, James Finelli Jr., even though I'm a criminal on Penfield Town Court. I know you want to see my financial disclosure, see if I have a conflict of interest. But since I put the screws to you and let this violent dog, Jermaine Bettman, walk out of Penfield Town Court, which is inside a library, you're not getting any of this information from me. And Chris, since I'm in a library, I think I'll go check out The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, because who doesn't love that book? So anyway, you're going to refuse to comply with everything. Every single thing, you're going to refuse to comply with. Elliot, Rob, where the surveillance device was placed, why don't you want to open your mail and walk through the parking lot, Elliot, for the 4,000th time, just like my neighbors, Shannon Meyer, fire her ass immediately, Todd Baxter. Here's two of my neighbors right here, walk through the parking lot. Is that right? That defendant at approximately 1440 hours did not only enter or remain unlawfully in upon premises 2041 Penfield by walk through the parking lot and being told by certified mail by police that he's not allowed on the property. Is that right? Why don't you arrest my neighbors? That all right there? The hypocrisy of you with your Jonestown is sickening. This civilian here, Elliot Roth, is telling me I'm going to be arrested. Isn't that right, Elliot? Elliot, why did you tell me I'm going to be arrested? Because you know that they came and did what? What did they do, Elliot? Elliot, harness the power of that brain of yours and reply as to why you said to me you're going to be arrested. Elliot, why did you say that to me? Because you know, Elliot, that they came and put this camera, also called a surveillance device, on your building. That's the corner of your building right there. That's why you, Elliot, saying me going to be arrested. And that's what I'm going to tell the United States Department of Justice. Elliot, where's your character? Where's your decency? Where's your morality? I would have came immediately over the way you lived. If the roles were worse than I would have said. They're planning to concoct the crime for you, and they just put this camera on our building. Who told you I was going to be arrested, Elliot? Was it Shannon Meyer? Again, refused to open your mouth. Same thing. Refused to open your mouth. This is the guy that was used. He cut your grass, Elliot. Todd, you bald-headed criminal. This is the civilian that Shannon Meyer used at your office. Now, it's just YouTube's 35 minutes. I don't know if you can watch the whole thing, but I'm going to write only about him as I look at my notes. I'm going to do a YouTube about him. I'm going to write a YouTube about him. Do you understand me, Albert and Lori Braccola? So Deb Bridges at Braccola Tree and Lawn Care. This is why you're getting it. So lose your mind, Deb, and I'm not hearing anything about this guy. This is your employee that Shannon Meyer met with to get me to come out of the house, concoct the crime for me. And since I've never committed a crime, I know how to avoid committing crime. And you use this civilian, you bald-headed stooge, Todd Baxter, through your employee, Shannon Meyer, to get to my residence. And 5 out of your fanatics, 6 of you were here for me. And he is John P. Lomenzo Jr., your predecessor, bald-headed, wig-wearing Pullman. So I'm asking for a list of his cases in here. He refused. I'm asking him for the documentation he called defective when he let Daniel Blouse III, this child rapist, go free. So, you're refusing every single time to open your mail. Excuse me, to comply with the law. You're refusing to open your mail, Todd Baxter, because there it is right there. Todd Baxter refused John P. Lomenzo. I was demanding a list of his cases. He refused. Elliot Roth, again, you refused. Elliot, who told you he was going to be arrested? Why do you think that came back to me? Return to sender. You, Elliot, they put this... The United States Postal Service put this strip on here, this yellow strip that says return to sender, even though I sent the certified mail for you to sign for. Elliot, who told me I was going to be arrested? Steve Desmond, this guy here, refused that certified mail. Albert and Lloyd, Deb Bridges, lose your mind, go crazy. Do the full Mrs. Hannibal Lecter here. This is your employee. That's why you get it. Braccola Tree and Lawn Care, using civilians to concoct the crime for me. Prove you own that land. He's his name, Russia. Oh, can I use his name? Are you going to charge me the crime because I used his name? There, Russia again. Prove you own that land. There, Russia again. Return to sender. Prove you own that land. His mother refused to own that land. Back to Elliot Roth. Why do you think he refuses to open the mail? Because he doesn't own anything. You can look at it and see nobody owns it. This is not a documentation. This is what he sent me. This is not documentation. You understand me, Shannon Meyer? Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Office of Real Property, can't confirm it. I kept saying to this guy over and over and over, just tell me if Nairaj and Layla Kumar Shah own this land next to my res. He hung up on me. The guy that's supposed to confirm if they own this land hangs up on me. Look at it, see nobody owns it. Todd Baxter. When you're asked by the employee Department of Justice, pretend I'm an employee of the Department of Justice. How is it a crime for Christopher Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, New York, to walk outside his residence, stand here, tell an employee of Braccola Tree and Lawn Care nobody owns the land next to his residence, walk back into his residence? How's that a crime? What's your answer? When you're asked, I guarantee you're going to be asked this by the Department of Justice employee and the employee at the Office of Governor Andrew Cuomo, because this is the sick, lunatic, brand you bald-headed criminal. Coming to my house to take my little guy. I adopted my little guy from Lollipop Farm Humane Society. He was with me 8 years. Just the best little guy. Do you not know Sheriff Todd Baxter in the United States of America, from Montauk, New York to Los Angeles, California, that people love their dogs? Here you are coming to my residence, one phone call. They're screaming at me at the back of this shack, this so-called Shaw law firm. They don't come over and talk to me. 4,000 times 7 years, and there you are. An hour later, 2 of your employees went out of control, demanding my little guy. How does that happen in the United States of America? It's because I live in the Monroe County Sheriff. I live in the county where Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter deploys his fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths to the home of his innocent citizen to seize his dog. You are a freak. You employ freaks. You are the freak of Monroe County, Todd Baxter. So, home from jail where the prosecutor didn't talk. This is an email I sent to my mother and father. This is an email. This is the most difficult language I've ever had to write. I had to tell them about how my head was snapped back at this gym and I'm charged with harassment. Second, sitting in the backseat of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle by Andrew Reale. Tell him how all I did is go outside, tell a guy in his tractor nobody owns that land from Rockhollow Tree in Long County. I was talking to my mother. There are points in the phone call where she's pausing. And my mother will only call me by my full name of Christopher when she's concerned about things. And I kept hearing my full name over and over and over because of how concerned she was when I kept telling her about this lunatic fringe descent of my life. And I can still hear her saying my name, which she's not understanding because she keeps saying to me, Christopher, these are not crimes. You haven't committed a crime. And she's not some type of mother who thinks her child and my brother and sister, everything they do is perfect. She's going to ask questions. And she kept saying my name over and over. I'm like, you haven't committed a crime. What's going on? It's exactly right. That's what every family member says and every friend says. They haven't committed a crime. You Don Benedetto. I'm holding this little piece of paper up to remind myself what it is. And fuck you, Don Benedetto. This guy hid on the private property of my neighbor. She's 70 plus years old, right near her bedroom window, and ran at me on August 30th in the dark of night as I'm exiting my residence. You can see the body camera goes on. When that body camera goes on, you bald-headed criminal Don Benedetto, that's not a crime. You chase me up my back porch. The hammer I just grabbed goes up. I pull away. I run back into my residence. You can see him wearing camouflage pants on the body camera. I didn't swing a hammer at anybody. If I wanted to swing a hammer at you, if that was you, Don, if that was you that grabbed my arm, because there were 5 of you here, you were walking outside stalking me that night, I would have brought the hammer down on your head and would have cracked it upon your head. You would have been laying right there in the backyard dirt. Then you would have to explain what you were doing here. You're here for me. You would have had to give that explanation. You would have had to say, we parked on Penfield Road, we walked on the private property of his neighbor, and we're here for that Chris Chichester. Don, you paid $85,000 lying in wait for me. What's wrong with you, Don? What's wrong with your heart? What's wrong with your soul? Do you have a heart? Do you have a soul? Don Benedetto. Do you have a heart? Do you have a soul? Lee LaRoque. You have no heart. You have no soul. Don Benedetto. You have no heart. You have no soul. Lee LaRoque. This is not a search warrant. When I show this to the employees at the United States Department of Justice, when I send it to them, rather, they will look at it and conclude that immediately. You exited with my Chromebook, Lee LaRoque. In here with your blue gloves, exiting with my Chromebook. I've never seen hatred and fanaticism and extremism like this hatred, fanaticism, and extremism that engulfs Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office. I was demanding the image that was on the phone when I came outside that first time. This first concoction for me was on the phone of your employee, Todd Baxter. Do you know that? When I came outside, that image is on the phone? When I came outside and said, nobody owns that land here, and walked back in my house, when you took me to your Jonestown jail, handcuffed me inside the jail so I couldn't reach the urinal, I urinated on myself, he showed me the video on his phone. I'm looking at myself at this, and I say to him, what crime am I committing? He doesn't answer. And then I say to him, that's not a crime, even though I was just handcuffed inside your jail and I urinated on myself. That original image I have not received. Why? Are you withholding it or did you destroy it? Which crime are you committing, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Are you withholding the original image, which has an assigned number, or did you destroy the original image, which has an assigned number? So. This is what I've been sending to you over and over and over. Everything I read is in here. And I'm going to send all this to the United States Department of Justice. I'll probably spend, I'll guess, $200,000+ just on what I'm going to send to the United States Department of Justice for them to sign for. There are going to be so many documents because when I go to the post office, it's going to be that heavy. So, Paul Messer, the name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court for John P. Lomenzo Jr., James P. Lloyd Jr., and Paul Messer. You received that on February 20th. Where is it? Everybody's guilty. You received it on December 16th, December 17th, December 18th, December 26th, December 27th, December 28th, December 29th, December 30th of the year 2020. And then you received it. Name, charge, and sentence of everyone in Penfield Town Court on January 3rd, January 2nd, January 5th, January 6th, September 16th, over and over and over, demanding name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court. That's because everybody's guilty in Penfield Town Court. How is that explained to the United States Department of Justice, District Attorney, Sandra, Doorley, and Sheriff Todd Baxter, that every single defendant in Penfield Town Court is adjudicated guilty by these repulsive, disgusting, sick hacks, Paul C. Metzler, James P. Mully Jr., John P. Menzer Jr. before Paul C. Metzler. How is that explained to the United States Department of Justice? Where do you live, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Where do you live, District Attorney Sandra Doorley? Where do you live, Penfield Town Court Judge Paul C. Metzler? Where do you live, Penfield Town Court Judge James P. Mully Jr.? My name is Christopher Chichester. I've never committed a crime.